Oh shit, my phone got stuck. Ready?
There you go.
There we go. Recently cut my nails, so I couldn't get under the can.
False start, that one.
False 9, mate. So, yeah, we're back. Episode 4. Hello, everyone. So this episode is called Neurodiversity, and we are both going to be talking about particular, things from neurodiversity, because we've both got like a lot of passion for the topic. And when you say neurodiversity, it varies. It can be anything from, autism, ADHD, dyslexia. There's shitloads of different things that you can talk about.
Yeah, there's such a wide variety on the spectrum, isn't there? So to speak. But we're mainly going to be speaking about the ones that we've got experience in.
Yeah, and if anyone listening has other experiences, feel free to message in. Educate us, because that's what it's all about. Everything's.
Yeah, we're not experts, are we, mate? We're just gonna go into sort of stuff that we've experienced and how we found it, and how it's essentially I don't know about you, but it's pretty much shaped the rest of my life. With having this in my life has made it just go in one particular direction.
Yeah, 100%. It's just it just totally opens your eyes from a parenting perspective, because I know when we was kids anyway, a lot of this shit weren't even
No, you'd just be classed as naughty, wouldn't you? Just be put in a corner and told to sort of deal with your emotions, and you'd be excluded and stuff, and that just doesn't happen these days a lot, does it? Which is it's so much better, because it does seem like we turned a bit of a corner as a society in this realm, I would definitely say.
Yeah, definitely, mate. But before we get into the deep, dark
beforehand. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we've invented a new game that we want to share with our listeners. So basically, we listen back to our episodes and see where we can improve, or any tech issues, anything like that. And in our last episode, and probably in the first 2 episodes as well, I probably said blah 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 about 100 times.
I would love it, right, if any listener can actually go back and count and say the actual number that you said blah 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 and the amount I said semi.
Yeah.
Every time, if you have a drinking game with your mates and you get absolutely fucking bladdered, every time you say blah 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 and every time I say semi, have some form of shot, you'll be obliterated.
No, I know. It was a bit of a joke though when we was listening back, because it's when I'm because obviously Cinderstella is quite a passionate episode for us both, and it takes you back to that place, and when you're rattling off all this mad stuff from your past, and I don't know whether it's a nerve thing, but I kind of feel conversation voids.
It's the equivalent of someone saying
yeah, if you watch Bruni in an interview and he's going
just about fucking clean, mate. I fucking can't wait to carry on when I get home.
But that's anyway, basically, I said blah 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 a fucking lot, and apparently you say semi a lot.
Yeah, no one's picked up on the semi though. But someone I did put in a message that Jay loves to say blah blah blah, don't it?
So yeah, that's the intro anyway. And also as well we had Rob Smith as well.
He won the competition, of course.
He won the competition and he got his vouchers. It didn't go with the porno vouchers, which was...
I know, it was a bit gutted, yeah. It was go on, Rob, do it. And he was no, to be fair, he did a great thing with it, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He fed all the members of Andy's Man Club Talk in Doncaster.
Yeah, in Doncaster,
with the voucher. So we're buzzing that's how that's been sort of spent.
He didn't literally get the vouchers and let them eat them. He got Tesco vouchers. And then he went and got loads of loads of scran and coffee and tea and shit like that, and then I think 77 people turned up, which is a big amount of people.
I had to get a lot of scran to feed 77 people.
So and then he gave us a lovely shout out on the page. So thank you very much for that, Rob. Massively appreciated, and we've had quite a lot of new followers since
as a result of it. So
mega.
Thank you very much. I'll have to get him on soon, won't we?
Well, he's on the list, isn't he? I think we've got 2 Andy's Man Club people that we've got in the pipeline.
We might have to get him to fight to the death to get the top spot.
So we did say, I think, episode 5, which will be our next ep, would be a guest one.
So, yeah. It was on our little pipeline, wasn't it, in that little screenshot that we sent to each other.
Yeah, so we're going to get that involved, and then we'll get a guest on for our next one. I think that'll be
unless
really
people need or want Fabo on his times too. It's up to the people, innit?
So yeah, mate, do you want to kick off the app?
Yeah. I'll dive in. It seems to be a theme, this, doesn't it? I go first, and then you take the mic half an hour in. Just say blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. Black sheep.
So yeah, like I'm gonna talk about like the sort of autistic side of things. So I'm not sure if we've said it on any other episodes, but I've got a son who has been diagnosed with autism. He got diagnosed. He's 5, but he was diagnosed when he was 3, which is pretty much unheard of. As in, to get a diagnosis that early, it normally takes when they're about 7 or 8. But my ex-partner was pretty relentless with all the follow-ups and all the like, we need an update, and we eventually got a diagnosis when he was 3.
That's like basically like one of the things I'm going to talk about later on. You literally have to do that in today's thingy. Like, you have to.
If you don't, you'll get
pushed back and shooed away and stuff like that, which is really irritating. Especially like your ex-partner, like you said, like being the mum of that child.
Yeah, you want to
know that child more than anyone.
Yeah,
and you just fucking know, don't you? Like, but yeah, sorry.
No, don't worry, mate. So I think it started when he was like 18 to 24 months old. He would have certain like patented behaviour, which would involve, like, say for instance, like he'd have a car and he'd tip it upside down and he'd flip the wheel, so it'd just be spinning, and then we'd try and like put like different TV shows for him and stuff like that, and he wouldn't like any like new ones. He'd want ones that he'd seen before and that he was like comfortable with, and he'd eat the same thing. His behaviour was very like repetitive, and he knew what he liked and didn't like, if you know what I mean. And if he did something he didn't like, he'd fucking let you know about it. So he was saying words and stuff like when he was like 18, 24 months. Like he was saying like dad, he was saying mama. Yeah. Like all the sort of like the hits that like the kids first start saying. Yeah. And then I think after like 24 months, it's almost like his brain got put into like reverse, and like he stopped saying dad, he stopped saying mama, he stopped saying, just anything really. It just sort of became quite mute, and just started screaming essentially. If like he wanted something, it just,
as like a form of communication.
He'd just scream, and like we'd have to sort of like pick things up and be like, do you want this, do you want that, do you want this, is it that, is it, and he'd like carry on screaming, or he'd stop if you landed on like the right thing.
And also as well, like just relating to like my daughter in that sense, like who is she's nearly 2, she's gonna be 2 in December, so it's like a similar age. At her age now, she does not know what she wants.
No.
I can open the fridge for her and she can be saying to me like, yog yog, and then I'll hold a yog yog, which is a
yogurt.
I'll hold a yogurt
for the non-parents out
there. and then she'll like push it away and say no, and then she'll point at the strawberries and go, do you want strawberries? And she'll go, yeah. And it's like, that's a prime example of they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And she can obviously say yeah and bat stuff away.
Oh mate, I could have held up like a cactus and it'd have gone, yeah. Like, what? This is dangerous, bro, but here you go.
But that was just to like, relate to the fact that 2-year-olds don't know what they fucking want.
No.
And obviously, like you said, in your case, there was no communication, which made it 10 times harder, because you was playing a guessing game constantly.
Yeah, exactly. We really was. And then, so we've obviously started like noticing things, because like I said before, like we know that kid more than bloody anybody.
Yeah.
And then like his nursery would pull us in to like meetings stuff, when we go to pick him up, and they'd be like, can we just have a quick word? And like they do some like sort of scoring system, don't they, on like they should be doing this.
Oh, like milestone
bollocks. Yeah. And I fucking hate that anyway, because I don't think any kid is the same.
No.
I think all kids will do certain things at their own pace and leisure. So they're like marking him on like, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, he's not doing this, and we're like, yeah, he's probably just, late bloomer, or he'll do it in his own time, trying to remain optimistic in that sense. It was like, thanks for letting us know, appreciate you pulling us in, and that you've got these like concerns. But off the back of that, we went and made an appointment with the GP, just to see if there was anything that we were doing or not doing as parents that could maybe be contributing to this, or anything that we could be doing that could aid the situation for him, maybe like read to him more, or I don't know, something to sort of bring on his like
at the time as well, he was first time parents too.
This is our first baby boy, so we're got imposter syndrome through the fucking roof. So throw this at us 2 years in, 3 years in, then it's just gonna like double, isn't it? Like, what the actual fuck are we doing? So we go to the GP and stuff like that, and he says, I think we should assess him for autism. So me and my ex-partner was like, right, okay, like, the first thing that comes to my head was like, what even is it? Like, what does that mean and stuff like that? So naturally you go and do a bit of Googling and stuff like that, and type in like, what are the symptoms of autism and stuff like that. And knowing what I know now, I don't really like to call them symptoms. Yeah. I'd rather call them, like, for our podcast, I'd rather say like characteristics. Yeah. Because it's more personable rather than saying a symptom. I don't want to put a negative connotation on anyone who identifies as being autistic. So the GP does the assessment and things like that. I'm not quite sure how it's actually done. I've seen like YouTube clips of it being done, and I think they just sort of like put him in a room and monitor his certain behaviour to like certain stimuli, if you know what I mean. I think they probably put the car in front of him, and as soon as he flips it over and spins it, they're like, tick. You know what I mean? There's loads on Google of sort of like the very stereotypical straights. Like another one that he would do is the hand flapping when he's excited.
Is it like the stimming?
Stimming, yeah. It's like but everyone does it though. Like, do you bite your nails? Yeah. That's a stim.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and apparently like it picking your scalp and stuff's a stim. Like, everyone has their own stim.
Anything you do to sort of like regulate yourself throughout the day is a stim. It's not just a sort of a person with autism does. Like, everyone does it, but that's like what they picked up on, being the hand flapping when he was like excited and like jumping up and down on the spot. Well, jumping up and down on the spot and flapping your hands at the same time as well. Like I see him do that all the time, and that's when like he's
excited,
happy as fuck. Yeah. So he gets the assessment done, and we get a diagnosis either just before his third birthday or after it, and I remember getting I think I got a call on the phone off my ex-partner. I was working at home at the time. I think it might have been during COVID stuff, So you're right, like, been diagnosed with autism. So I was like, right, okay. And I put the phone down, and I wasn't upset. I wasn't happy. I wasn't like, I was just a bit like, what does this mean? Yeah. Like, what do our lives, like, what direction, what door do we have to open to go down now? Because obviously you think your life's going to go down Avenue A, but now we're probably going to have to go down Avenue Z, if you know what I mean. So it's just throwing like spanners in the works from learning to be a parent with a child that's got additional needs. Like, what am I going to have to do to better this child's life? Yeah, and I just want to say as well, like, there's no like answer, is there? Like, you can't Google like, no, my child has autism. What can I like? There'll be like good cues on there for certain things that like, I don't know, like sensory stuff is like a really good thing for like, there's things out there that can possibly help, but every child is different, and so is every single like child with autism. Because there's obviously a spectrum, and they've got a saying in I think it's like within the actual like autistic community that if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Yeah. Meaning that you'll never have any two of the same, if you know what I mean. Yeah. They'll always be uniquely different in their own way. Yeah. If you know what I mean. So you can't, like you say, you can't just Google it and go da 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 da. You kind of have to just trial and error the absolute shit out of it. Yeah. And like, he likes that, right? Let's lean into this. Right, he hates that. Let's fucking avoid that like the plague. Like, I would say you quickly have to come to terms that your life is never going to be the same, and it's probably going to be, you're going to have some form of difficulty every single day of your life. Like, simple things like maybe taking a walk down the street are now big events. Like, we couldn't leave the house and turn a certain direction.
Yeah, you had to go the route.
We had to go the route.
That he was used to.
Yeah.
Don't like change.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember in like the early stages and stuff, we took him for a walk in his pram, and rather than going like straight on at a particular route that he was familiar with, I was like, why don't we go this way and like, I don't know, go to like a coffee shop or something like that's up the road. So we literally turned the pram about 12 degrees left. Kid erupts.
Yeah.
Kid erupts like that, and you know what? I'm going to be honest. Like I was getting dead frustrated. I was like, why? Like why?
Was that the times when you didn't know?
We knew, but like it was hard. You know what I mean? So I wanted to go that way because I thought we'd go and have a nice coffee or something as a family or something like that. And he was going bananas, and I was just like, the frustration got the better of me in the early days, and I was just like, why can't we turn left? Like it's a turn left. But obviously knowing what I know now and how much that would have just threw him off, and he wanted to go straight ahead because that was where he was comfortable, that was where he was happy. I should never have got frustrated. I should have just gone like, well,
that's the thing about being a learning curve.
You matter. Your mindset, your headspace matters far more than mine. So that was it. It was really hard to deal with during the early stages of it. Like especially like in public. Like if he was kicking off and stuff in a public setting, I'd just be quick to say like, right, we're going.
Yeah, and the thing is as well,
I couldn't handle the eyes and the glares.
But the thing is with autism too is like it's fucking invisible. Like, and obviously you've got to be quite sensitive about what I say here because I don't want to say the wrong thing and offend anyone. But for instance, if your child was in a wheelchair, as an example, people will see that and know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's clear as day.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
However, with autism, it is invisible.
Like, yeah, you literally cannot like a child walk in and go, that child's got additional needs. You just can't. I
don't want to take it down a different avenue, but obviously I know stories that you told me before about, obviously with your child, when you've been in public places and he's been, I don't know, he's walked over to someone's table and took a chip off the table.
Yeah.
And obviously, and then you've gone over and gone, oh, I'm really sorry. And then people have like reacted badly to it, and you've been and then you've naturally lost your head, which anyone would do, because you're like, oh yeah, like.
I might tell a story towards the end.
I just thought it was relevant.
It's definitely relevant, yeah. But yeah, people do. Yeah, I don't know. People just feel the need to step in, don't they? And they really don't fucking need to.
Yeah.
I'll tell that story at the end because it's quite funny, to be fair, what he did. Where was it at now?
Sorry, that's my fault.
No, don't worry, mate. We always do this. And then I have to fucking figure out where I left off and start scrolling through my 9,000 page essay on this. So, as someone who's got like a proper basic understanding of autism, or maybe yourself actually, like I'll put you on the spot here.
No, it's fine.
How would you just describe it to a complete novice?
What autism?
If someone asked you who was didn't have a clue what the term meant or was, what would you say? How would you best describe it?
That is really hard, but I'm gonna have a stab anyway.
Have a stab because I've got a little like metaphor that I would use.
I think so. If someone asked me what is autism, it is really hard to even like.
I know.
Package it up into like a sentence, but I like to think of it, without sounding cliche and cringe, as a superpower, first of all, and not as a disability.
Nice.
And you know, it's linked to, like I said before, on the other things to do with neurodiversity, like ADHD, dyslexia and stuff like that. Like I'm dyslexic, and I'd describe it similar to that. Like it's a superpower. It makes you different from everyone else, but not in a bad way, in a good way, because everyone else's brains think the same, like, well, not the same, but everyone, whereas when you have something like autism or ADHD or OCD, anything like that. Like, I feel like your brain thinks differently to everyone else, and you have this cool superpower that the normal person doesn't have, and they just go about their days normal. They might walk down the street and then cross the road, whereas when you have one of these superpowers, you'll see that, like...
You might see that road as a playground and skip across it.
But just something totally different. Like, I just feel like it's a superpower and you see the world differently to everyone else.
That's
and then the normal people, I'm going to call them normal people.
Well, you can call them neurotypical.
Well, I mean in terms of, like, they don't have the superpower. Like, so they'll... they'll just see the world how every other fucker sees it, who's like boring and not got this superpower, whereas us people who are neurodivergent see the world differently, basically.
That's a really...
That wasn't on the spot.
It was, mate. It was. Like, you can do that to me anytime. Like, it's such a tough question.
It's such a sensitive thing to talk about. You don't ever want to say the fucking wrong thing.
It's difficult.
Get cancelled.
It's difficult, mate. I completely understand it.
But yeah, like, I just see it as a superpower, and that, like your son, for instance, he sees the world differently to everyone else, and it's beautiful. Like, he sees it beauty. He don't see, like, for instance, like, he won't see like horrible things like racism and stuff like that, because he's not fucking aware of that.
He doesn't have a clue.
He just sees the world as snacks, fucking, I don't know, Toy Story and the park, and they're his main things that he gives a shit about. So he's not getting tied up in all this negative, horrible stuff.
No, he's not got a clue about societal norms. He's not got politics, a clue about
shit.
Nothing. He likes what he likes, and he just dislikes what he dislikes.
It's the best way to live.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So yeah,
that's good. My like sort of version of that would, I've had to describe it to people like my dad. Like people who from that generation where you have to layman terms it down to them so they get it. And I said, like, imagine like a motherboard on a PC, and wire A connects to port A.
Yeah.
And that would be in a crudely defined neurotypical brain. And for someone with a neurodivergent brain, wire A might connect to port B.
Yeah.
Wire C might connect to port D. It's the same wires, they're just connected on different ports. Nice. And you can go further with that, saying that's like the motherboard is a metaphor of the brain.
Yeah.
Like, a neurotypical has a brain like wired in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And the neurodivergent brain has all those exact same wires. They just connect in different pathways.
That's a nice way of looking at it too.
And to be fair, like, after I said it like that, like, my dad got it like straight away. So I was buzzing about that as well. And there's like other things that I've learned by just doing so much like recon into, because that's a part of my son's world. So inevitably that's now part of my world.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Definitely.
So there's like very specific language that, not that you have to use, but I think it's just like the right terminology to use.
Yeah, of course.
Like there's a language that's called person first language.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is just specific to autism or it's across the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
But someone will know, who'll be able to tell us, won't they? And it basically says that the person comes first before the sort of additional need or the sort of disorder that they
so
have.
You wouldn't say this autistic person, you'd say this person that has autism.
Yeah, so if you say it in like a sentence, but saying I have an autistic son, you can hear the sort of like negative connotation that sort of surrounds it, whereas if you say I have a son, person first, I have a son who is autistic, it just puts a nicer spin on it.
No, of course,
and stuff like that. And yeah, it's important that the personic value comes across in like the first instance rather than the additional need.
Yeah, no, it is nice.
It is really nice.
And it's something that you probably wouldn't ever think of until someone's explained it to you.
No, I didn't have a clue that existed.
Yeah.
But now I do. It's
almost like you're labelling them first when you talk like that, whereas when you say my child, it's like you're labelling them as your child rather than you're labelling the child with that.
Exactly.
I totally get what you mean, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I bet people who are listening will be like, there's no fucking way you had all this, like, in the first instant. There's no way you had this mindset, or there's no way you had all this knowledge in the first instance. And they'd be right. Like I touched on earlier, like, I struggled in the first, like, year or maybe 2 years to deal with the fact that I have a son who has autism.
Yeah.
And we had to, we had to figure him out day by day, week by week.
And around the time that you said you got the diagnosis, when did you say he was around about 3 years old nearly?
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but your ex-partner was probably pregnant with your daughter around the time, maybe? She's 2 now, and your son's 5.
Well, you're only pregnant for like 9 months, aren't you?
Yeah, so you might have been around that time of like your partner being pregnant and then still figuring this out. Bringing a newborn.
We might have been trying. That's all we're saying. It might have been on the cards, mate.
Yeah, I was just pointing out that, like, whilst learning all about that,
yeah,
you then bring in a new child
into
the world.
another child in the mix.
And obviously, like, a newborn is just fucking really hard in general anyway. Like, so you also having a newborn and learning all about, like, how to parent a child with autism, like, all at the same time. It's not fucking
there's
easy.
just so many.
You're gonna lose your rang at times. Like,
there's so many levels to it and things, and I've definitely got to be accountable and say that I didn't have this outlook on what it takes to be a parent to a special needs child. Like, it's people who are parents with special needs kids get it.
Yeah.
Whereas people on the outside, maybe like family members, like your aunties and uncles, whatever, going like, you'll hear people say like, oh, they'll grow out of it and stuff. And it's just like, fuck off. Like, you don't fucking get it, do you? Like, no. unless you are living and breathing this journey, like, you won't know how hard it is. Yeah, you'll say nice things like, I'll is there anything you need, like, let me know. But people don't fucking mean that. If you literally said to someone like will you look after beep for the day, your lights going here, there, if you can't do that, they'd be like, sorry, I don't have the fucking nails for that. I really don't. So yeah, it was very hard in the beginning, but now I see the child for like what he is and what he can, like, ultimately become, if you know what I mean. And if I harness all this knowledge and, like, energy towards him and give him, like, the best pathways and show him, how to act as just a human man, if you know what I mean, all I can do is instill good habits and stuff into him. Yeah. Whereas at the start of it, I was only instilling bad habits and what not to do and how not to react in situations. Yeah. And I don't want to leave that imprint on him, if you know what I mean. As
no, of course.
I want to show him that, what good lads do and what you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. I just want to show him how to be a good person and stuff, and not what I was doing in the first couple of years. Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, just to jump in on that, I've got 2 points that I feel are quite relevant to that. So, point number 1, and I'm not making any excuses. I think you was a fairly young dad as well.
Yeah, 25. Yeah.
So 25, still young. You're still figuring yourself out, learning, about life and stuff at 25. And then also, secondly, based on our other episodes that we've spoken about and your upbringing and your childhood and your traumas, I'm not saying it's only natural that those things was going to creep in, but you just didn't know. Like, you didn't have the tools in the first place to know how to do that shit, because you wasn't necessarily nurtured as a child. Like, look, jump back to last episode, Cinderella. You used to sit in your bedroom and get, like, noodles stood under your door and you're eating raw like a dog. So you're not going to, like, then go into parenthood and be this amazing dad who's dead loving and blah blah blah. Fuck's sake, said it. There we go. 30 minutes in, I've said blah, blah, blah.
Have you?
I just said it then.
Oh,
I caught myself.
Well done. Well done.
First drink.
Yeah, let me just neck this back.
But, so, yeah, like, obviously, you weren't going to hit the ground running anyway. And, like, you know, obviously your son now, like I said, 5 years old, you've learnt a lot. And
I've learnt so much.
You've come a long way. And, you know, it's just not an easy ride having a child in general. But then, like I said, having a child with autism, it times it by 1,000.
Yeah, it definitely adds like an extra layer on there, and you have to just sort of not give a fuck about yourself.
No, of course.
If you know what I mean, like, and nowadays, like when we're in pubs or stuff like that, I take him somewhere and he's like doing something cheeky. Like, I'll tell that story now. What I did. So we was in a pub and he wandered over to this like couples table. There was like 4 people sat around the table, and he's like noticed that they're having chips. I noticed that the guy loves fucking chips, so he just reaches over, picks the chip off this woman's plate, and just sort of swans off.
And
like,
you're like at the counter order.
Yeah, I'm at the counter order, and I'm looking at this, right, and I'm going, you know what? He's not hurting a fucking fly here. He's just took a chip off that woman's plate. Obviously, I'm going to go over in 30 seconds once I've paid for this meal, and I'm going to go and explain. So as I'm walking over, and I go, hiya guys, is he just took a chip from you? And then they was like, you shouldn't even let him be doing this. And I was like, I'm sorry, what do you mean not letting him do what? Bounce around this pub, having a good time. And they was like, you should keep him like close to you and stuff like that. And I said, listen, he's took a chip off your plate. I said, I've just ordered like 2 lots of chips. I said, I can come and give it you back if you want. And they was like, I think they said something like, you need to control your child.
Yeah. And
I was like, look, I said, I was going to come over and sort of, you know what, it's hanging, I was going to come over and apologise. Do you know what I mean? Which I should fucking never have to. But to fucking bellends like that, you kind of have to, just to smooth shit over, kind of just be like, sorry, this is the reason why he's done it. I said, he doesn't know that that's not his chip. Yeah. He doesn't know that him reaching over to a stranger's table and grabbing a chip is wrong. I said, he doesn't know. And then that's after they said, he needs to control your kid and stuff like that. And I said, and then at the end of it, I was like, well, you 4 are all fucking scumbags and are you? And I just walked off. I was like, come on, big boy, let's go steal some.
Fucking flip the plate of chips as you walked off.
Honestly, mate, in situations like that, and it's happened about 6 times, I'd say, I feel myself go like jelly, and I feel like I could kill someone with like the energy that I have in me, and that they're like not disrespecting my son or anything. Like, I don't want to get all fucking Al Capone on you, but like if they're doing something that directly impacts him on like a negative scale, I don't know where I'd stop. If you know what I mean.
Like you said, it's that whole invisibility thing as well, and like them just being judgmental prick straight away without trying to like not understand the situation. But at the end of the day, even if your son didn't have fucking autism and it was just a little kid coming over taking a chip.
How many times that happened in play centres though? When a little kid will come up to you and you're eating something and they just grab it and you're like,
and you just be like, another? You're right, cheeky, like, and,
it's a kid.
Have another one.
Taking a fucking chip. Like, who gives a fuck?
The only thing I'd be worried about in that situation, and this sounds a bit weird saying this, but I'd be worried that if I was giving chips to a child in a play centre, like the dad might look over and think I was a pedo or something.
Fucking get it!
I'm more worried about that, and that says more about, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the kid could eat all my chips. I don't give a shit as a kid. Like, do you know what I mean? I have kids who don't understand it, but like, to start getting your back up and being like, fucking took one of my chips, blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to keep your kid under control.
Because I originally went over there, and my first instinct is always to try and, like, play it down, be nice, and if I can, some form of education. Yeah. But because they just went straight to being fucking Karens.
You're naturally going to get on the defence as well, because it's your child.
Yeah, exactly. And like
you just see red, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So I offered out some like 6'6" guy in Aldi once. And, you know what I mean? If push comes to shove, I might not been here recording this episode.
Just squeezed your fucking head and popped it.
Yeah, literally. But like he took me there, and in that moment, I could have took down a fucking train, genuinely. But thank God he turned around and got in his car. But yeah, it's fucking horrible when you just, you know what I mean? Like go into a pub with like your kids for a lot of families is just so normal. Whereas when I take my son, there's always like an added edge of like,
of course.
I just want to have a good time. I just don't want anyone to say anything, and I want him to go and express himself and do what he wants. And I hope that the people there will just let him be.
It is awful as well though, because like you said, you want to go and express yourself and let your child. You want your child to go and express himself, and you have this feeling of like, if he does something that he wants to do, like for instance, I know he likes tapping cars, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like and for him to do tap on a car, and it's not like he's smacking it and scratching it or anything. He just walks past it and literally just taps it with his fingers.
The guy does more damage when he fucking farts in the car on his seat rather than him tapping on it.
But do you know what I mean though? That him doing that and then people getting their backs up, and it's one of them, like in that situation, you could either A, be like, no, don't do that, and then upset him.
Exactly, which
or
I don't
B,
want to
just
do.
be like, it's not hurting anyone.
No.
But you know there's always going to be a cunt out there that'll go, hey, touching my car. And it'd be like, yeah, he's not done anything. And then you've then got to explain the situation, which you shouldn't have to do.
I know.
It kind of almost makes you want to fucking put one of them fucking hats on your fucking head with a massive flag on top of it with a message on it saying, my child has fucking autism. Just stop the fucking
He's
belly.
going to tap your car.
Like you said, it is hard. I don't know how you do it personally. And that's obviously why we're doing this episode too, to like A, educate people, and two, there might be people out there that are going through a similar situation to what you was when you first found out, and it could possibly help them. They might reach out and fucking
mate. If someone is what I've been saying and hopefully can relate to how I handled it in the first stages of it, and be like, oh, you know what, I need to fucking not do that. I need to educate myself. I need to be proactive about the situation. Like, if someone does that based on what I've said, like, I will fucking be buzzing, be over the moon, because if I could go back in time and give myself the information that I've like accumulated now,
no, of course,
I'd fucking do it. I'd Indiana Jones this shit, and fucking go there.
That's the thing though, mate. That's the thing with life, innit? Every day is a fucking
school day.
And you learn new shit.
Day, yeah.
I always wish I could go back in time and do things differently with, like, I don't know, certain things like not go uni and fucking do an apprenticeship instead. Do you know, certain things like that? And it's the same with like parenting. Like, I always think, oh, if only I knew that back then, and you know,
it's the hindsight, innit?
Fucking go back in time, can we?
Hindsight will never not be a beautiful thing.
No, of course.
But yeah, and another thing that like we had to like go through is when you get the diagnosis and stuff like that, like that, like you might have had the same thing. I mean, I know your daughters haven't been diagnosed or anything yet, but when your kid's first born, like you first like hold them and stuff like that, like you picture a life that you think's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll say from like a lad's perspective, and I've got a son, I was like, I can't wait to take him to like a footy match at City. I can't wait to, you know, teach him like fucking parkour, something like that. I can't wait to show him how to like ride a bike. You know, like so you just see pictures in your head of how you think your life's gonna go.
Definitely. From
things that you want to share with your son and teach your son, and you hope that like they'll make him happy. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas when this like sort of gets thrown into the work, you almost have to like grieve that life that you thought you like mapped out.
Definitely, mate.
You have to like proper shut the door in your head.
Not all them things that you imagined.
All the things
that
exactly, yeah. And it's a bit selfish in a way.
It's almost like the acceptance of it as well, because I bet you're probably in denial for a long time.
Oh,
like,
fuck
thinking,
yeah.
Like, no,
yeah.
It's not like definitely.
I've tried taking him to like watching like local teams, you know, on the field and that.
Yeah.
And he's just not interested,
No,
and like now, like I don't give a fuck if he's not interested. Whereas at the start, I'd be like.
Trying to force it a bit.
Well, not force it, but I was just like, and I want to find something that he's into.
Yeah.
And whatever he's into, be it like fucking, I don't know, like mushroom picking or like going to the zoo, like whatever he wants to do that makes him happy, I will dive into with both feet. I don't care what it is. If he likes, I don't know, like painting and decorating or something like that, like we'll go and paint fucking random houses and stuff like that. I don't give a fuck what it is, if you know what I mean. I just wanted to find something that we can do and bond together, if you know what I mean.
Well, you do now, is like every Saturday pretty much.
Like I think we found is like happy place, which is like being outdoors and being free, like not being told like you got to walk on this pavement, you got to like he doesn't like being sort of orchestrated in one particular direction. Like we go to this place near where we live, and I just walk 10 paces behind him.
Yeah, but you take him on walks, won't you, for like miles? And, he'll be out for hours.
Yeah,
and it's that he does that. It's amazing.
Yeah, because that's where he's happiest, when he's free. He can go left, down, up, right, side to side, and there's no place where I'm gonna go, oh no, we need to go this way. Yeah. We need to
don't go that way. Like,
exactly.
Unless he's going into the fucking reservoir.
Yeah, unless he's going into the reservoir, then I'll have to obviously step in and blow the fucking horn, get the lifeguards involved. But there's no way for me to stop him doing what he's doing, and like naturally he just runs up and down on like the bridges and stuff like that. And there's obviously people walking past the bridges while he's there, and I couldn't give a fuck if he's in their way.
No,
I couldn't care less. Whereas at the start, I'd be dead prang about him being in the way of other people.
Yeah, and worrying.
Exactly.
Whereas now you're just like,
now I don't care. Like him being happy running up and down those bridges is more important than him being in their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's mega, mate. I just love how much you just like fully like not owning it, but you're just embracing the shit out of it, and it's going to be amazing for people listening, and hopefully like I said, people going through possibly a similar journey, or know someone and they can recommend it to someone, or you know, maybe someone's already been through this journey, and there might be a listener listening who's in their fucking 40s, and they could maybe message us and be like, oh yeah, we did X, Y, and Z, and
we've got the T-shirt sort of thing, like take some anecdotes out of our lives.
That's all we want to do, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? I think it's amazing, and you do so much amazing stuff. Obviously with your son,
we try.
But no, you do, and like you said, you've come a long way from obviously like the first. Because I remember when you told me about the diagnosis and stuff, and I didn't have a fucking clue what it was then. I was like, oh, so like, tell me more about it, and you know,
I couldn't. I was like, I don't know myself, mate. But there's defo things that I'm like very glad that I've done, and that I've put time into like figuring out, I suppose, because I'm not sitting here on some sort of fucking high horse, or like I've cracked the code or something like that, because you see that all the time, you know, and like you see it a lot on Instagram, where because loads of people tag me in videos where their kid says their first words, and granted it's coming from a nice place, I get it, I appreciate it and stuff, and there's this lad who was autistic and he was non-verbal. I think he says like good morning to his mum, something like that, and obviously the mum's just like over the moon with joy. Yeah. And in the instant of me like watching it, I'm so happy for the mum. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy for that parent that they've heard what their child sounds like for the very first time.
Yeah,
like that must be incredible, and I see it, and I'm not jealous, I'm not envious, I'm just happy for that parent that's gone through it. But then 5-10 minutes after watching that video, the negative internal dialogue will start, you know, in like your own mind, where you're like, you know, will that ever happen to me? Will I ever hear what he sounds like and stuff like that? And I just think that's the danger of those accounts where they only show the fucking good highlights.
Yeah, of course.
And I think if you want to be seen as a real fucking person, you have to show the bad.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why I cannot sit here and say just the good things that I've been able to do with my son.
Of course.
You have to say, these are things that I fucking struggled. These are things that I did.
Because that's relatable too. Like no one here likes someone that sits on social media and just brags about all the good stuff about what the child does and stuff like that. Like, obviously, yeah, you're not naturally going to go on social media and go, I really struggle doing this and that.
No.
Because you'll have like the Karen police straight onto you and being like, oh, you fucking shit dad, mate, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is a hard balance, but like you said, I don't really know on that one, because you're not really going to slag yourself off on social media. But then I suppose, like, if you are proud of something, you're naturally going to, like, not boast about it, but it's a hard one, isn't it?
I suppose, but it's just, it's probably, no one else might have an issue with it. It might be solely me who not has an issue with it, but it's just like, every day can't be like that.
No, of course, yeah. It's more the people that lie.
Yeah.
When it's like, fuck off. Like, no.
Yeah, and they're portraying that, like, it's almost like they're portraying that they're better. Yeah. They're better at, like, the like, parenting for their
It
child.
might be things like, my baby sleeps through all the time. Yeah. It's like, that's not something you need to
fuck off with that shit. Yeah, like, just fuck off.
Do you know what I mean? And that can change any fucking day, mate. Like, because my daughter slept through for, like, months, and then all of a sudden she fucking stopped sleeping through. Like, do you know what I mean? Anything can happen to anyone at any point.
But yeah, that's stuff you just don't want to wear about fucking, you know, my kid sleeps through and your child's up like 4 times a night. Like, just fuck off with that.
No, of course. My kid eats green beans and yours eats fucking chips. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you.
Yeah, but to be fair, I do think I've come to terms with the fact that my son I might never hear him talk.
Yeah.
Because when he goes to a specialist school near where we live, and before he started, me and my ex-partner had a meeting about, you know, what the school's like curriculum is, what they're going to show him, what they're going to teach him, and things like that. And towards like the end of the meeting, they was like, right, so what's next? Like, what can we do, like, for him? And we just said, I think we said it at either the exact same time or just like within a split second of each other, and we just said, happy. We want him to be happy.
Yeah.
And the like 2 staff members who were there was like, they were like taken aback a bit, and we was like, yeah, we just want him to be happy. End of story. Like, we said it, looked at each other and was like, I agree with that 100%. And the teachers were like, normally this is the stage where they say, I want him to talk, I want him to count to 10, I want him to do this. And we was like, I don't give a fuck about that. I couldn't give a fuck, I want him to be happy. And that was a big, like, I don't know, maybe like a big puff out chest moment where you're like, fucking yeah, I want that kid to be happy and nothing else.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's, you know, one of them answers where you just don't have to think. And I didn't have to think, and my ex-partner didn't have to think at the time. It was just blurted, like word fucking vomit.
That's really nice.
I want him to be happy. And forgot any more. I've got more, but I feel like you can educate people as well.
I could whiz over mine a little bit more, because obviously yours is a lot more not changed your life a lot more, but mine, what I want to talk about is a bit more of a frustration that I have in terms of, you know, what we talk about.
Oh mate, I could rattle off of some of them if that'll make you feel better.
But yeah, so I suppose I could talk about what I wanted to talk about, and then maybe after it, if there's anything you want to come back to, then go for it, because I can see that your notes have still got more shit on it. I'm nearly an hour in.
This bear. I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to apologise. I'm a thorough guy.
You're a note kind of guy, and you make notes all week long, whereas I just turn up with my laptop and just chat shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it's
We're
about.
so different, but that's why it must work, mate.
Exactly, mate.
That's why it works.
So yeah, obviously Ryan's spoken about you know, the autistic side, and that's why I mentioned earlier on in the episode that it's called neurodiversity, because it has several different like stems from it, and something a bit more close to like myself and my own life experience is the ADHD side, which also leans into autism, and it's one of them. It's a bit. me and my partner have learned a lot over the years from several different things, like reading shit online, Instagram, and then also my partner is also like studying to be a social worker, and she also works in a it's like
is it like a mental health ward?
Yeah, I didn't want to say like the wrong thing. I couldn't think on the spot. But it's like a mental health ward and stuff, and she gets like a lot of amazing like insights and people coming in and doing like educational stuff and teaching them.
Yeah, because those people can literally be her library.
Yeah, and she'll have people coming in that has like things like ADHD and blah blah blah. But I've said it again 2 times.
Net your beer.
Basically, the thing I wanted to talk about is something that's close to us, because one of our children, we are like 95% confident that they have ADHD / autism. And yeah, my frustration in this is we're very confident in it, because like I said, we've got a lot of resources where we've been educated. Like I said, my partner in her career, she sees it daily because she works with people that have ADHD and autism. She speaks to people that have had it, and you know, like she's amazing at the whole research side of it. Like she's amazing, and she does it all day long because she's an amazing mum, and you know, the children are her absolute priority, and she's obsessed with them in the best way possible.
And as well, she's got a very keen insight on just knowing that child, as in knowing your own children. You know that children like the back of your hand.
Yeah, and like it dawned on us, I'd say probably about 2 years ago now, and there was just certain symptoms like what you said, kind of a lot of things. So just to rattle off a few, the stimming, but like you said with your son, he does it with your hands, whereas with our child, she does it with her legs. And she'll be like lay on the floor, and
she like shake.
She like aggressively shakes her legs. She hyper focuses as well. So like
you when you first told me, you had a really good definition about what might be going on in her head. Do you remember?
It's just like you say, it's like a processing thing. So we've heard like.
You said something dead specific though, and it was really...
Oh no, it's about the TVs.
About the TVs, yeah.
So that was something we seen on a documentary. So what they say about like the ADHD brain is they'll have like 10 different tellies on in their brain
with different shows,
with different programs on, and they don't know which one to watch.
Don't know which one to look at.
And there's just all this fucking noise going on around them, and they don't know what's going on. And in that moment in time, they might just be laying on the floor, like shaking their legs and stuff, and they don't know what. Do you know what I mean?
Whilst all that's going on in like the back of their head.
Yeah, and like there's that. There's the super fussiness with food. There's the up and down in emotions. So either really hyperactive and way up there, or very overly emotional to the point where you can make a joke and they'll start crying. We've gone through loads and loads and loads of different things, to the point where it was my partner that like had this moment one day when she was like, I think it's ADHD, and like we both read it, and it's mental, like that we looked at like the symptoms and we was like tick 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 every single one. And this, like I said, this is a few years back, and yeah, this leads me on to like my main frustration, like in the whole getting a diagnosis. It's ridiculously difficult with females, and it's like a known thing. If you like Google it and research it, it's like a known thing. So like with males, say like younger boys and stuff, they get diagnosis so much easier, and it's because I don't know whether it's because they've got like more testosterone and they've got fucking spunk in their balls, and they're just a lot louder and boisterous, and in school they'll play up and they'll fuck about.
Girls, I think I read girls are better at masking.
No, they do, they mask, and I'm going to go on to that in a minute, but like with the boys, so they'll fuck about, they'll mess around, and the whole annoying thing, and I was like this when I was younger and I didn't know fuck all about ADHD. I got told once when I was diagnosed with dyslexia. The woman that diagnosed me, she said that I might possibly have ADHD too.
No way.
ADHD. And at the time, I remember I went back to my class, and I thought it was cool. I thought like, yeah, it just means I'm a bit fucking naughty and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm way even naughty. I knew fuck all about it then, and it weren't so much about them, but basically, like, boys can get a diagnosis so much easier because they'll just fuck about, they'll be loud and, you know, mess, and the annoying thing is people do just associate ADHD and stuff with being naughty. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh yeah, just being naughty, blah, 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 where it's not. It's like I said, it's that struggling with the TVs all going on in the head, and all that kind of stuff, whereas with girls, they very much, from my own experience anyway, from doing a lot of research, and if you do the research and look at stuff, it's mad how many women get diagnosed in like their 30s.
Yeah.
Because
they've just got this. Paddy McGuinness's wife or ex-wife,
and also Tanya Bardsley as well. She got diagnosed later on in life.
Phil Bardsley's wife?
Yeah, because her son had it, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm going to get fucking tested as well," and she had it, and obviously, a lot of these people have money, so you can get a private diagnosis just like that.
Of course they can.
But with us in our situation, we've been trying to get a diagnosis now for ages, and the most frustrating thing about it is you have to go through the school. You can't just get a referral or anything like that. And we've gone through the school so many times, and we've got videos of her lying on the floor, like stimming aggressively, and we've got all this shit to like show them and stuff, and they'll just brush it off and be like, no, she's not like naughty in school, and we're like, do you not have to be fucking naughty? Like, do you know what I mean? And we're like, you see in 6 hours of that day, where like 2 hours of it is cut out anyway for playtime and lunch and stuff like that, and then the rest of it, they're so self-aware of the surroundings. In
school especially.
That they're not going to do the shit that they do at home. Because at home, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And they know that they're surrounded by people that love them, and they can be their absolute 100% authentic selves, and they can lie on the floor and fucking shake, and they can, do you know what I mean? They can be really fussy, they can have meltdowns, they can cry,
because they feel safe, around. Don't they, to do so?
They absolutely. Whereas in school, they don't, and like you said, it's the masking. And like they'll mask and they won't do any of these things, and they'll keep themselves quiet. Just a small little example is they'll do a maths test in school, which is like, it'll be like 50 rapid maths sums that they'll have to do on a timer. And when she brings a sheet home, she'll never get all of them right, and or she might do sometimes, or she might take ages to do them and stuff. And then that's the being distracted though, and having fucking tellies on in her head, and not knowing X, Y, and Z. But I'm not even just saying it because I do the homework at home. Not my partner, I do it because I just have a better strategy of getting the best out, and she prefers me to do it with her as well, because I'll bring her off into a separate room. I'll have no telly on.
So that's something you've leaned into as parents, isn't it? Like,
and that's just how it works best, and we'll do it. And then every single time she'll get every single one right, and she'll do it quick, and it's because there's no distractions. Whereas, and I'm not saying it has to be ADHD, because that could be any kid, but this is just an example. Whereas in school, and there's all these distractions around her, she ain't paying attention because she's more bothered about what colour socks that girl's got over there, and then she might be really interested in that colour pencil that boy's using, and then she might start reading a fucking poster on the wall or something. Do you know what I mean? And then by that, all that time's gone. She's got like 1 minute left of the test, and then they're like, right, 1 minute left, and then she's rushing and she's getting them wrong. Do you know what I mean?
And that's through, like, that's not her consciously looking at the poster, looking at the socks.
No,
like,
there's,
just a
there's
of
loads of things, mate.
Over,
loads of things. Like we can put the telly on, put a film on, put anything on, and within less than 2 minutes, she's
doing something else.
Yeah, she won't watch it. The only thing she'll watch is if you give her an iPad, and she'll hyper focus on it. And if you give her an iPad, and we're like on it with screen time, like we don't give her the iPad, and like when we do, it has like a timer on it, so she can have it for a restricted amount of time. But if you give her that iPad and you didn't have a timer on it, she could sit on the iPad for easily about 6 hours.
Yeah, and you won't hear a peep.
She won't say nothing. But if you put a telly on, she won't watch it for like more than, I don't know, 5 minutes. Or she'll be on the chair upside down, watching upside down. Honestly, and that's a trait as well. Like, so many people, like, I hear so many stories, and it's just mad. And it's for me, the most frustrating thing is like how easy it is for boys to get a diagnosis. Like I said, when I got a diagnosis for my fucking dyslexia, there was like that to me. Then like, oh, you might have ADHD, and it's just so fucking easy because I might have fucked about or something. Whereas with girls, they don't. And so many girls get a diagnosis later on in life, and it's just ridiculous. So that's my little rant anyway. And I do, hope that if anyone's listening that has gone through similar. Like, even if you just message me, and obviously this is Jay speaking, so if you message it and address it to me, and just let me know what yous have done. If yous have had daughters or anything like that, and you've got a diagnosis, like super helpul.
Yeah, just any how advice, to get it over the line.
We hound the fuck out of the school, and they'll just be like, oh yeah, we've done observations, and we think she's fine because she's not naughty and shit like that, which is fucking stupid. And it makes our blood boil, and it's going to get to the point, like we said, like in the new year, we're probably just going to go private and pay for it, because, you know,
if that's the only way, mate, that's the only way, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I said, we know our child, and we know that it's most likely definitely that, or something similar to that. So yeah, it's just, yeah, that's what I wanted to chirp in. Yeah. And you know, it's on that whole, like I said, that spectrum of like neurodiversity, and it's not, you know, it's like I said, it's other things like dyslexia, which I have.
I didn't know that fell under the realm of it.
Well,
to be honest,
it did
on
that I didn't thing that I googled before. When I googled it, it said that, and then a few of them have also said OCD, which I have, like really bad OCD traits. Like it's ridiculous, like because and that's another thing as well, like. That's
why our grid's so flawless, isn't it? Because of your OCD.
But like, even like from me and my partner going on this whole journey, like it's led us to both believe that my partner has ADHD too, and we're both confident that she does. So we're going to look at getting her tested as well in the future, because like she's spoken to people in work about shit that she does, and they're like, yeah, definitely. It's just little things like the forgetfulness and stuff like that. Like no matter how many times, like my partner's, we're both fucking nearly 30, and like. She's just so forgetful about certain things, and that is a massive trait.
Because she just gets distracted about other like random stuff.
Like she can be literally like, sometimes I can come down and she'll ask me about 10 times a day, where's my phone? Because she just misplaces it. Like I've gone down before and I've opened the fridge and her phone's been in the fridge. Like I'm not joking, like ridiculous things like that. Like she's the most amazing partner in the world, and could not wish for a better partner. Amazing mum, amazing like fiance, everything like that. But she's such a fucking clumsy fucker, and she'll say that too. So yeah, all them things too, and
she'll laugh at
it's
that.
funny because we could write a book together about me being the fucking OCD person, living with her, the fucking ADHD person who's like brains away with the fucking fairies. And then I'm like the opposite, and I'm like dead routine, regimented, and fucking always thinking like 10 days ahead. And
need
like,
things to be in order.
Yeah, and like we're both the polar opposites in terms of our thinking, but we've come to a good place.
Opposites
where,
attract.
But we fucking didn't at first, and fucking rounds we had, mate. Like over that thing, just parenting and shit like that. Like it's a fucking hard thing to do, and like
yeah, you have to iron out those creases, don't you?
And like I said, I've got so many bad like things from my childhood, and like my parent, like how my dad was with us, and I've had to undo a lot of that stuff, and then also like just coming together and making a partnership work. It's a very hard thing to do, but we are in a dead good place now in terms of like everything, and I brought down my OCD shit, and she's brought up her thing in. We've like met a bit in the middle, and like
that's what it's about, isn't it? Because you both have the exact same goal, which is to create a good environment for your children.
Exactly.
So that makes it so much easier to get on the same page and be united in those like circumstances.
100%. But you're going opening your Bible back up and
opening the Bible back up. And I know we're an hour in, so I wanted to like end it by saying like you hear a lot of like people saying, I wouldn't change my child for the world.
Yeah.
And I agree with that absolutely. Like you don't love your child for what they are, you love them for who they are. But you would, however, change the world to fit your child's needs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think the more like stuff like this that goes out there and are heard by the general population and stuff like that, I think that mask is like being pulled back, if you know what I mean now, and like you've seen like the sunflower lanyards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they get handed out on like planes and stuff now. I think if you ask for one, just so like you say with the invisible thing, it's like that sunflower lanyard is like the equivalent of that
indication.
It's that person's wheelchair, like I said before. It's just a way of saying like I can't communicate for myself to tell you what I'm struggling with at this moment in time, but this is like the lanyard to tell you that I'm dealing with some stuff at the minute, and I think that's really nice, and I think as a society, as of like 2023, I think the curtain's really being like pulled back on this, and there's a lot more of like acceptance going on, and a lot more of like, I don't know, just a lot of niceties around this topic, which 25 years ago, you were just deemed as a naughty child. I think I think as like a society in general, it's definitely come ahead like leaps and bounds.
Definitely.
And I wanted to rattle off some household like famous people who
that's a nice idea.
Who are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Which some of you may know, and some of you may not know. Which obviously I've Googled this, so I don't know every one of them. But there's a famous actor who was in Ghostbusters called Dan Aykroyd. He's autistic. Tim Burton, the director of Beetlejuice and Batman and
I know who Tim Burton is.
Yeah.
So is he autistic?
He's autistic, yeah.
That's that's quite mad, because obviously if you see anything that Tim Burton does, it's
unreal,
really different to like
so
what you
different.
normally see, and like you could only imagine that someone that could create that, like I said, going back to having that superpower.
Yeah, because exactly.
Like everything that he does is like fucking bonkers, and
no one else could do that.
So creative, and it's really cool.
Bill Gates, and I just put next to it Bill fucking Gates, like bananas. Mozart. Yes, Mozart.
Who's that?
Who's Mozart?
I was going to say Mo Salah at first.
Mozart. Mozart, the fucking famous composer.
Oh, sorry, right, yeah. I thought it's because you said Mozart. I was like,
I'm not Mozart. Mozart. Anthony Hopkins.
I know who that is, yeah.
Hannibal.
Yeah.
Hannibal is autistic. What a guy. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla. Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
Possibly the greatest scientific mind that's ever lived. And my personal favourite, because he's my favourite comedian, he's called Jim Jeffries. He's an Aussie comedian, and he got diagnosed with autism when he was like 37.
No way.
Yeah.
Have you finished your list?
I've finished my list.
No, because I've got another one to add as well.
Go.
I was listening the other day to, obviously, the Parenting Now podcast. I listen to it twice a week because it's like my favourite podcast. And they had Nick Frost on. Do you know, from obviously everything that Simon Pegg does.
Yeah.
He's got ADHD.
No way.
And it was just mint listening to it, like the shit that he does, because he says like, even now as a grown man, he gets overstimulated with his children sometimes when they'll be asking shitloads of questions and stuff, and he'll just randomly like grab his t-shirt and he'll rip his t-shirt
like fucking
off.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. And that's like a sign like for him to say like, I'm getting overstimulated, so just rips your shirt off like
like a big fucking gorilla that he does that.
Yeah, it's mint, mate. And, like, he says like sometimes he'll like cook with his headphones on so like no one can fucking talk to him and shit, because just stuff like that is mint, mate. Like,
what a guy.
Yeah, that episode though like is hilarious. I'd recommend anyone listen to it. It's like fucking so funny.
But yeah, that's been Neurodiversity / Neurodivergent, and I think that was really good, mate.
No, it was. It was
a difficult one to get right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit that like we might have wanted to just rattle off, but we have to be careful about what we say when we're putting it out as an educational piece. Like, you know,
of course, yeah.
And obviously, it's an educational piece for ourselves.
Yeah,
too.
for us. Yeah, exactly.
We've gone on this journey together, and like we've had so many conversations about what I've just spoken about and what you've just spoken about, but together.
Yeah.
And helped each other through these moments, and hopefully this will do the same thing for either people that are going through similar or people that know more than us that can fucking help us. So yeah, that's that. Would you like to ask me the question?
It's that time, is it? Right, I need to... Who are you drinking, Jay?
Who am I drinking? To be fair, fairly fucking boring, but it's a solid beer.
Solid beer.
But like I said in the last episode, our Tesco's was shit for beer, so I need to venture out and, like, I don't know, find a... do you know where we need to go? What's that place called next to the King Will? Do you know that does the random beers?
Oh, yeah, the coffee shop.
Yeah, like they have a shitload of random beers, don't they?
Yeah, in the fridge.
You need to go there and just clip 2.
The Cobblers,
beers.
that's what it's called.
The Cobblers, yeah. But anyway, played it safe this week when I was in Tesco. Got it on the old club card as well, so like fucking £5.50 for 4 cans. Brewdog, Hazy Jane. Cannot go wrong. It's a strong beer. Always give it a solid 7, 8 out of 10.
A 7 out of 10. And like we said in the last one, if it's got hazy or pale or anything like that in the name, like it's getting bought by us, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. So Brewdog, Hazy Jane, it's a strong beer.
Strong beer.
Can't go wrong. Even like when you go to an actual Brewdog pub, you get them on pints and stuff like that.
Oh god,
unreal.
Especially the Hazy Jane Guava one as well.
They do them cans as well, don't they? It's like half blue and half fucking pink or something.
That's probably like my favourite. But besides Neck Oil, that's my favourite beer.
One of my favourites when we went Brewdog in the summer, and they had that peach one.
Oh, the peach or the candy one.
No, it was like fucking Brewdog hazy peach or something. Unreal.
That sounds erotic.
Unreal. We've fucking waved off our tits. Oh, that reminds me actually, it's 5%. So
ooh, damn girl.
Yeah, like stronger than our session IPA,
Nah,
which is like 3.5. So yeah, that's been episode 4 anyway. Neurodiversity. It's been a blast. Thank you all for listening.
TBC out.
Peace.